Kobie Turner with 2 of the Los Angeles Rams, 9 sacks in this win for the Los Angeles Rams over the Minnesota Vikings in the wild card round. First of all, Kobie, thank you so very much for joining us. I'm sure it's been an emotionally draining week this week leading up to this game now in Arizona. How emotionally draining was it, or was it emotionally draining?
It's been a lot, to be able to see, one, just what the community has been going through in LA, and then 2, to be able to be out at practice and you see big clouds of smoke coming from one direction, and then you go back out after, whether it be going to walk through, and then you come back out for practice, and then now there's another big cloud of smoke from a completely different direction. So it's been a lot of stress on us, on our families. There's been guys who've been in evacuation warnings or evacuation order zones, people who've evacuated, but really our thoughts and prayers go out again to the people of Los Angeles, to the people who've been affected more than we have. We're blessed to be able to come out and still play this game, and to be able to put the city on our back, and go pick up a dub, not only for the Rams, not only for the names on the back of our jerseys, but also for the city of Los Angeles. So it means a lot to be able to do that.
When you see those plumes of smoke, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, we were just trying to get locked in on, our game plan and stay focused. But
how hard was
when
it?
we saw it was hard. But especially when we saw, the second cloud pop up out of nowhere, that was the one that started up in West Hills, and there's a lot of guys who live up in that area, and a lot of guys who were affected. I had an evacuation warning off of that second one, so it's definitely hard, to stay locked in. But McVay did a great job of keeping us locked in, of allowing us also to be able to go in and check in on our families if we needed to, but to be able to just come back, get our 18 snaps, or however many plays it was that practice of work, and then to be able to go back and be with our families.
Apologies for segueing to football, which seems so insignificant given everything that you talked about, but I mentioned 9 sacks in this game, which I believe ties an NFL record in a playoff game for most sacks in a game by a team. When you go out on the field and the offense puts up a touchdown that first drive, did it just kind of juice up your defense even more?
It does give you all the confidence in the world, and then, we already had all the confidence in the world in all of our guys in the entire offense, and then to be able to have 9 leading you through the playoffs, playoff Stafford is different, and so we know that he's going to take care of business on the offensive side of the ball, and all we needed to do was do our jobs on the defensive side of the ball, and we were going to come out with the win. And to be able to go and put out a dominant performance defensively as well, that means a lot. It's not something where we're counting sacks or anything like that. It's just us doing our jobs, stopping the run first and foremost, and then being able to go and get after the passer when our time is called. And we earned the right to go get after the passer often by having success on first and second down.
You spent a year as a teammate with Aaron Donald before his retirement. He was in the house. I'm not sure if you were aware if he was in the house. I know they showed him on the big board. But what was that year learning from Aaron Donald in the same position on the defensive line like? And through osmosis, what did he pass on to you?
Yeah, there's a lot of experience that I learned from just playing ball, but also being able to play next to who I believe the greatest defensive player of all time is. And so to be able to learn his process, the one thing that stood out to me about him was his consistency. In year 10, he's treating it the same way that I would imagine a rookie would, and being the first one out, being the first one in, being always going and getting treatment, getting extra workouts, all of those things. So to be able to learn from him that consistency, that's something that I've tried to pick up as well, consistency in the process, and that's going to lead to the results that you want. So that's one of the things that I definitely picked up from him.
Last question. Most people are used to seeing you wear a mask, a helmet in football, but most people now are used to you as the masked singer in season 12, Goo. And you, I think, talked about in an interview how important it was to, find your true voice. Have you heard from people, football fans, singers, all walks of life that have either reached out to you or just talked to you about like the importance of what you did in the Masked Singer outside of just being an entertainer?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to people. There's been people who've shared with me, that it's been awesome to be able to see me up there and that I did a great job and things like that. And then there's also just been people in the music world that I've been able to connect with as well. That's something that I'll get into in the off season. Right now, we're completely locked in. I'm on football, and music will always be, my hobby in season and something that I go to keep myself, sane and to keep myself going. But we'll focus on all that later. Okay. Right now, it's time to beat the Eagles.
Really quickly, how do you beat the Eagles? You beat the Eagles if?
you beat the Eagles if you stop the run first and foremost, and then when it's time to go and get after the passer, you get after the passer.
Kobie Turner, thank you so very much for joining us. And I don't believe you that you weren't counting sacks. I remember hearing, oh, how much did you have? 1.5. How much do you have?
Yeah, we
2.
ask after for sure. We ask after.
Only after. Kobie, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.